Hey everybody, welcome to another, I guess we're going to call this an odds and sods video. I've used that in the past. All the other cool names are taken. It can't be a Monday night meatloaf, it can't be a Saturday night special, can't be an odds and ends. I forgot what some of the other YouTubers use. But anyways, so I think I'm the only one using odds and sods. Probably sounds kind of weird. Odds and Sods was the name of an album by the English rock group The Who back in the 70s, I think. Was it? Yeah, early 70s, I guess. Anyways, I don't know. That term caught in my head, and all these years later, I was trying to think of a name for these little videos that aren't quite flea market finds videos. They're just kind of rapping about what's going on, that kind of thing. So anyways, welcome to this episode. I got just a couple of items I picked up at the tool store that I want to run over with you. I actually got 3 items I picked up, not all at the same time. This past week I hit the tool store and I picked up 2 items, one of which I went there for specifically, and the other of which I happened to happen across, and it kind of tied in. It kind of worked out because I'm in the middle of trying to take that loader off of the IH350 tractor, and I've got a rusty part that I've got to apply some heat to, and the tractor's still far enough away from the house that I don't want to try and lug my heavy oxyacetylene torch set down there. I just recently sold my portable oxyacetylene setup. I had one of those Uniweld caddies that has the 2 small bottles in it, the torches and the hose and everything like that. I had bought that a while back. I actually picked it up at the local pawn shop of all places. The thing was brand new, and I used it on just a couple of quick brazing jobs before I got my full-size oxyacetylene set up. And once I get the oxyacetylene set up, the thing had just been sitting here for years in the shop, and I recently got into a mindset of I really need to get rid of some stuff. I want to really make an effort to clean this mess up, get some organization. I got some really nice cabinets. I haven't even moved them into position. I got stuff on the floor. I got stuff on workbenches, and it's just kind of getting out of control. And I'm also taking stock of like my inventory of my measuring tools and things like that. And when you go to look and you've got 8 sets of 6-inch calipers, you think, yeah, maybe, just maybe, we could get rid of a few. So I've had quite a bit of activity. I want to give a quick plug to a Facebook page, a Facebook sale page, for those of you who are fans of the machinist tools and buying and selling. There's several Facebook pages that have that specialize in just machinist tools, but there's one called Used Machinist Tools. That's the one that has the most members. It's the kind of place that you're going to find a lot of bargain hunters looking. So if you're not asking too much money, you can usually sell some stuff. I have one pet peeve with that page. My one pet peeve with that page is, say that 5 times fast, pet peeve with that page. There are a lot of people who will join the page because you see this type of posting a lot. Oh, belong to my uncle, dad. If it's true, it's a family member who has somebody in the family that has passed away or divorced or whatever, and they've got these tools and they want to unload them. Problem is, they often have no idea what they're worth. So they'll put up these posts where they'll take a picture, and they'll take a picture of all of this eye candy for us toolmongers, right? And they'll say, PM me with an offer. So what that leads to is, invariably, you'll get a bunch of people that will completely ignore that and leave comments, how much for the parallels, how much for the V-blocks, how much for the interrapid, right? And a lot of times these people won't reply. And the reason why they're not replying, my theory is, the reason why they want you to PM is because they want to treat it almost like it's a sealed bid auction. the idea of how a sealed bid auction works is that you have no idea what other people are offering, and you put in your offer, and then it gives all the power to the seller, because the seller could sit back and just go, oh, well, there's no way I would take that. Or, well, maybe I take that, but I'm going to wait and see what else comes in. So you often see those posts will have a lot of comments, especially if there's good stuff in there. You'll see a lot of comments in there. Again, a lot of people asking how much for something and not getting an answer. So to find out how much it is, you've got to PM the person and make an offer. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that, because that's not the best way to maximize your value, is it? Anyways, the page can sometimes get quite a few of those going at a time. And what happens is every time somebody comments on one of those things, I think it gets bumped back up to the top. So if you've got something for sale and you're, a legitimate person that says, hey, this is what I have for sale, this is what I'm asking for it. If you want to pay that, fine. Those, well, people know right away, okay, well, that's what he's asking. I don't need it or I don't want it, so I'm not going to comment. So those things get kind of shifted down to the bottom, because those ones with the comments constantly just go boom, 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 get bumped up, bumped up, bumped up. So that's kind of a flaw. If it were up to me, I would probably have a rule saying that you have to include prices. But then I could see where that might scare away a lot of people who have no idea what the heck to ask for stuff because they did honestly inherit them or whatever. But I mean, in this day and age, it's not hard to figure out what something's worth. I mean, my philosophy is this. If it's a popular enough item that you can find several of them on eBay, and I'm not talking about going on eBay and searching for ones that are currently up there, that, Billy Bob's asking $350 for his. I don't care what Billy Bob's asking for his. What I want to know is, what did Bobby Joe sell his for? So I go into the sold auctions, I filter by sold, and I look and I see what they sold. And I look and I look and I see, hey, I don't go by, well, this one sold for way up here. It's like, no, what on average? If one sells for really cheap, why? Look at the description. Maybe it's missing parts. Maybe it's got issues. Who knows, But you're going to be able to kind of figure out, if there's several of them to choose from in the sold, you're going to be able to figure out pretty much what the thing is worth. Then, you don't need to get greedy. You just go, okay, if I were to sell this on eBay tomorrow, I would have to accept PayPal. eBay would take their cut, final value fee. PayPal would take their cut. All right, so that same item, I'll gladly take, 25% less to somebody who's going to be able to walk in here and put cash in my hand, maybe even more sometimes, depending on what the item is, especially a larger item. I had some things advertised, and I had a couple of local guys within 1 hour drive of me that actually saw them on those national pages and came down and bought a few items. And the great thing was they were able to come down here, we were able to meet face to face, learn a little bit about each other's character, and or that I am a character, right?
Okay, great. I'm so glad that the school gave you guys a day off today. Yeah, I'll come up there and micromanage your lives again.
Alright, so, pardon that interruption. Of course, one good thing about an interruption like that is it completely ruins my train of thought, so I don't quite... This actually forces me to stop talking about what I was talking about, right? But I was talking about the used machine as tool site, pet peeves, who cares, right? But I did have several people recently ask me where I sell my stuff, what my eBay user ID was, and things like that. Okay, so let's start with eBay. My user ID on eBay is my first name, Steve, and the first four letters of my last name, W-A-T-R. There's no E in there. It is not water. Okay, so all one word, S-T-E-V-E-W-A-T-R. Feel free to take a look on there. You may not even find much on there. Not a big fan of eBay these days. I sell certain specialized things on there that I need a very wide audience for, because, for instance, I just recently sold a Peltor branded made in Sweden headset, specialized headset, and it was brand new in the box, and when they were new they were crazy expensive. I had a new old stock one, but something like that. I put that on my local Facebook page, and you know, I'd have to set myself on fire to get somebody's attention. Whereas on eBay, talk about a wide audience. I actually just sold that one set of those. I had two of them. I sold the first one, and it's actually on its way to the Netherlands as we speak. So, you know, that's great. They get the global shipping. I don't have to ship it to the Netherlands. I ship it to an address down in Kentucky, and once it gets to Kentucky, somebody down there takes it, puts it in another box, makes sure that all the proper customs paperwork and everything is filled out, and that thing goes off through the global shipping program that eBay has. So that's kind of nice. The problem with that is eBay takes their cut, which I forgot what, last check what the percentage was, but it's pretty high. eBay takes a high percentage for that service, not the global shipping, just in general, the eBay listing. And then to add insult to injury, how you receive payment, they tend to really gear you to take PayPal. They have everything linked. Don't even get me started. Did you know that they now, as part of the eBay user agreement, have the right that if you lose a dispute over an item for whatever reason and they want to issue a refund to the buyer, they have the right to just pretty much tell you, hey, we're just going to reach into your account and take whatever funds, refund them, and oh, we're going to refund the shipping, and oh, we're going to refund shipping back. I don't know. It's all buyer oriented. They want to make it a beautiful, safe environment to make all the buyers very happy about what they're doing. The problem is some buyers abuse that system and cause problems, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, long story short, I prefer not to sell on eBay if at all possible. My other avenues are Facebook for sale pages, which depending, if it's kind of a normal item, like a lawnmower or something like that, then I put it on the local pages here, and I expect the people to come and just pay cash in hand. And then there's Craigslist. Craigslist has gotten better. They're really trying, because they got a really bad rap over the years. That whole thing about people getting killed. That doesn't really go over well. But that wasn't actually, that was like beyond the pale. I'm talking about just, it was a regular occurrence that if you listed something for sale on Craigslist, within moments you would get automatic replies with stupid questions like, is it available? I just put it up. All right? It's a bot. It's a bot, and then you get a lot of people that just ask if it's available for whatever reason. I've even Googled that to try and figure out what exactly the end game is there by doing that. Some people say that they're somehow harvesting emails, and if you use the text service, that they're somehow harvesting phone numbers for spam down in the lists that they can sell to spammers. I don't know if that's the case or what. There's also a lot of people say that it's a psychological thing, that people like to get replies from people, and they just, once they get the reply in there, they've fueled that little tiny part of their brain that needed to have that reply, that they just move on to the next person. So it might be part of what's going on there, that it's a psychosis. But anyways, so Craigslist, occasionally I'll advertise on there, but that's, not as popular with me as it used to be. So like I said, the Facebook pages, my username on the Facebook pages is my regular name, which is on the channel here, so you guys all know that. So you can find me on there occasionally. I even occasionally see on that used machinist tools page that I just told you guys about, just recently I saw Keith Rucker, another YouTube star, celebrity. Saw him advertising some wares on there. But anyways, occasionally you can scoop a good deal there. I like the Practical Machinist website. It's an excellent website. It's according to their according to their moniker, they are the largest machinist website online as far as members go. I believe that. That's probably the case. They have a forum on there that has a lot of valuable information on it. I just got a little hand slap from a moderator on there just recently, because remember I said that I'm trying to clean up and get rid of extra stuff. Well, I guess like my last 4 posts on there were all for sale posts, so I got a nice little shout out by the moderator, basically letting me know that he checked and saw that the last several of my posts were either posts where I was offering things for sale or posts where I was asking people about things that I then later was selling. So they have a rule that if you want to be part of their community, that they request that you not just sell things on there, that you be a valuable member of the community by offering input or offering content, things like that. I used to be a lot more active in that respect when I was doing projects like the Hendy Lathe, the SIP drill press, because they have a section on there for antique machinery, and there's some guys on there that are really great with information. There are some guys on there that know Hendys in and out or other machines. So I was on there a lot more during that time frame, and so I think that's a good enough reason, as if I didn't need one already, as if I didn't have one already. That's a good enough reason why I need to get back to maybe finishing up that Hendy gearhead lathe, finishing up the SIP drill press. The drill press. Why did I stop working on the drill press? I stopped working on the drill press because I, only had so much time to devote to projects, and I've got the Wells Index milling machine is like the greatest drill press I could ever ask for. So I really don't need the drill press. So it's really just a matter of, well, the drill press, I just got to finish it because I started it. That's about it. So, and it's a neat old machine. It was made, I think we figured out the thing was made in 1916. And anyways, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, you can search SIP, S-I-P-P, drill press, and I can almost guarantee you that on all of YouTube, pretty much the only results that are going to come up are my videos, because this is a rare bird. It was made in, I think we ended up figuring out this thing was made in New Jersey. And I think it was a 1916, unusual configuration, so not a camelback. And it's a sensitive drill press. That's the other thing that's neat about it. It's a big, heavy, sensitive drill press. Right now, I'm trying to take the loader off the IH350. I'd like to get that started at least before cold weather sets in. It hasn't been restarted in quite a while. We're going to have to do probably some messing around with that just to get that to happen. I might take another shot at taking that gearbox off. Those of you who followed this series know that the previous owner, or someone who owned this somewhere along the line, took it upon themselves to weld or braze the box down to the top of the tractor frame. The problem is, part of that is the cover. It's a transmission access cover. So that you could just unbolt, but the problem is it looks like that sits on part of the casting also, and it looks like they brazed that too. I had tried grinding that and using a cutoff wheel to try and separate that at one point. The problem was I had such a hard time getting in there because the loader was in the way. Well, now that I'm taking the loader off the tractor, maybe I'll take another shot at that. So right now, I'm working on getting the loader off of that tractor. I just primed and painted more components for the Hammond grinder. So that was a short series I got there. The Hammond grinder that I started and never finished. Again, I want to get the Hammond grinder finished because I've got another Hammond grinder, a bigger one, sitting out there under a tarp, getting even more rusty as the days go by. And I want to, figure out, I don't need 2 of them, so I want to figure out if that one could also be saved. Then I know I'm going to sell one. Maybe I'll offer them both for sale and keep whichever one doesn't sell, because I'm not really going to be finicky about which one I keep. So that's the Hammond grinder. The steel chainsaw, I still haven't ordered a carburetor or a carb kit for that. I just haven't had time to really get back to that. I'm probably going to break into, pretty soon, I'm going to, where I bought that chainsaw, I also picked up the backpack blower. Well, we're heading into fall, we're heading into leaf season, so the backpack blower is going to probably come in handy, so that's probably going to be what I'll start tackling next. So I got to warn you right now, I might not even finish the chainsaw. I might go right to the backpack blower. I've got several lawnmowers sitting out there. I'm probably going to do nothing with those this fall because the Husqvarna mower that I fixed up, right now I can't give that thing away because, well, I mean, like asking like 50 or 60 bucks for it. It's got a brand new carburetor on it, for crying out loud, and brand new cables. I got all that, you know, stuff into it. Can't get 60 bucks for it because it's just not the time of year for a mower, you know. So let me just show you the tool items that I picked up, the few little items I picked up at the tool store. And the main reason I want to show you is because one of these items, I was just getting ready to use it, and the thing looks brand new, and I want to show you guys how nice it looks, because I'm going to probably definitely create evidence that it was used momentarily. So I need to apply some heat to a rusted stuck part, and you know, you already heard what I said about the oxyacetylene setup and everything. So my choices right now are, I got propane, of course, and I got one of these regular kind of blowtorch heads here, which this is about all this is good for is soldering like 1/2-inch copper pipe, sweating copper pipe. That's about it. And in reality, it's slow. So an upgrade to this would be to not use propane and to use what's called MAP gas, M-A-P, okay, gas. Now, in the latest video, which may or may not be published, haven't decided what order these are going to go up on YouTube. I give the actual long chemical name for this, why this is called MAP gas, but it's propene and something else mixed together. It's a trade name. This burns significantly hotter than propane torch. Okay, so if you're going to sweat copper pipes and plumbing, you can do it a lot faster with this. So that's what makes this great. What's bad about this is it's about 3 times the cost of this. So this is the unusual large cooking stove size bottle, but if you buy this size bottle in propane, you can pick them up at Home Depot for about $4 a bottle, whereas this is like 12 bucks. Okay, so it's about 3 times the cost. But because everything gets hotter faster and you can work faster, it's, you know, you get some of that economy comes back. So MAP gas is the way to go. Now, I could either take this torch off of here, okay, and put it right on here, and that would be an improvement. I also have even one step up from this. I don't recall where it is right now offhand. I think it's I've got it somewhere else because I was using it for something. But I've got one of those benzomatic torches, which if you've ever seen one of those, it's a black plastic housing, and it's got a torch, blowtorch head, pretty much just like this, but it's got a button on it, and when you pull the button, it's got a piezoelectric igniter in there, so it makes the spark, and it simultaneously, when you pull the trigger, it opens the valve to let the gas out and ignites it. So it's push button start, and then you take your finger off and it just shuts off automatically. That's a lot more convenient, but the drawback to that is it's still got the same kind of head on it, and it doesn't give you as much versatility as what I'm going to show you next. And it's also bulky. When you have a tall tank like this, and then you put that tall trigger, the assembly is like made to hold in your hand like this, and then you got the you know, the torch coming out here. It becomes a very tall, obtrusive setup, as opposed to what I picked up at the store, the used tool store. I was going along, and it was kind of funny that I was thinking about picking up MAP gas on the way home that day, and what do I come across? This little slice of heaven right here. So when I first spotted it, I was like, oh, well, that might be handy. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I like this because this, you can loosen this nut and you can swivel this to different positions, okay? So once you put it on the bottle, you can, there's no trigger to have to hold to keep it on. There's no ignition, so I've got to use an igniter. I got to use a starter. What do you call it there? The clicker thing there. You know what I mean. Anyways, you got to use an igniter, ignite it. But once it's going, you can position this to where you want. And if you want to put heat on something, you don't have to sit there and hold it, which is great. So that alone, I was thinking it might be worth it. At $15 on this thing, first thing I look at is, well, this is the kind of thing you don't want, some kind of cheap garbage, because you're taking your life in your own hands. So I looked at it. It's a turbo torch by Victor Equipment Company. Now I know Victor makes good quality products for torches, so I was like, oh, okay, that's good. But then I was like, all right, well, $15. How much is this thing going to cost me new? That's how much more would I have to pay? Would I have to pay to buy this new? Because if this is like, if this is like $25 for a brand new one, I'm probably going to buy a brand new one, So it took me a while to find it, and I tended to find it more on industrial sites like Granger and HVAC supply house sites and stuff like that. But it turns out this is an expensive little torch head. This part right here actually is sold separately because you could put different torches on here, apparently. This is a Turbo Torch Extreme ST3. And because of the design of it, with this long shotgun effect here, where it's drawing in the air here and mixing it with the gas, it really, I think, creates a very hot, intense flame. So that's nice. And then, again, the beauty of it is here, if we want, we could swivel this. Let me get a wrench. So this is a 9/16" wrench. By the way, if you have this is called, those of you who don't know, this is called a tubing wrench, okay, or a pipe fitting wrench. So this is used for fittings just like this, and I recommend that if you have a wrench like this, that this is the wrench you want to use on something like this, because this is a soft brass nut, and if you can't use a closed-end wrench because the tube's in the way, which is why this is designed the way it is. But if you use just like an open-end wrench on something like this, if you slip, you're going to round over the corners on this thing. So, as a matter of fact, before I even do anything, let's look at this under magnification. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at this because I want to see evidence of whether or not this has been turned before. And there are just the slightest few little marks there, but nothing to really indicate that this has had much turning done to it. So I think this is used, or maybe it isn't. Maybe that's just from hitting something, I don't know. But the idea is if I loosen this, I should be able to get this to swivel. Yeah, so once you loosen it to a certain point, now I could swivel this to whatever position I want, right? And then of course when you get done, you want to make sure you tighten it back up. But that makes that really versatile. So this torch right here alone, there's no discoloration at all on the end. Yeah, I'm confirming that. On the inside and the out, there's absolutely no discoloration, which leads me to believe, there's also a sticker on here, I don't know how that survives any heat, but that leads me to believe that this is brand new and never been used, okay? And so I think I looked up in this torch part right here, this ST3 part, which is this unscrewed from this tube, this alone is like over $50. And then I forgot how much this is, but it's an expensive little device. Also, look how clean that looks inside there. I don't think this has ever been used. So anyways, that's my great little find that's going to help out. And that was just by accident. I actually didn't go to the store. I just picked this up 2 days ago. I didn't go to the store to buy this torch head. It's funny how sometimes things will come to you. It just came to me. Striker. This is a striker. Okay. So, all right. So let me make sure I tighten this back up. I wonder if that's made so you could swivel it even without tightening it. That would make more sense to me. I may have been wrong about that. I think by design you're supposed to be able to swivel this while this is tight. Yeah, it doesn't seem like any amount of tightening is going to actually keep me from being able to swivel this. So, that's good to know. Alright, I just opened this and nothing happened. What did I do wrong here? You have to unscrew it further before it starts releasing gas, I guess. There we go. So that'll throw some serious heat, which is nice. You can see just having it on that short amount of time, it's already starting to discolor that tip, which is why I think this is brand new, unused. So what drew me to the tool store this week was, I looked at his weekly video, and he always puts, well, what he's got coming in or whatever, and I saw something I really liked. See, right now, the largest scale I have in my shop is this Lufkin aluminum utility 36-inch rule, and this is, you can see it's in 1/16 of an inch division. So this is not by any means a precision scale. This is, matter of fact, I would go as far as to just call this a yardstick. Okay, I have my 36-inch Raybone Chesterman, made in England, I believe, straight edge. So I have a decent sized straight edge for when I need it, although I hardly ever use it. But that was a scooped it for 20 bucks kind of deal. And well, anyway, enough of me defending why I pay what I pay, or why I buy it when I don't use it. So anyways, I'm looking at the video, and he glances over and briefly mentions a 48-inch Starrett ruler. Okay, so that actually, I got too much junk on the bench. But anyways, there she is, 48 inches in all her glory. The thing about Starrett rulers, when you get up to the 48-inch size of Starrett rulers, they get very expensive to buy new, especially depending on what they are. There's an interesting, kind of a weird thing on eBay where there are these Starrett rules that are brand new that are selling dirt cheap. I want to say I saw one for like $18 and change. The problem is they don't even show a photo of it, and my belief is that these are imported knockoffs, because many of you probably already realize this, but there are Mitutoyo digital calipers you can buy coming out of China. That say Mitutoyo, it's shocking, but they say Mitutoyo right on them, and they are like horrible. The reviews I've seen on a lot of them, very bad. When you turn them on, they don't even have enough digits to show like tenths of a thousandth. That's like the first dead giveaway on some of the really poor ones, that you're not getting genuine, the real deal. Well, I think that what they've got is, I think they've got people selling online these knockoff Starrett scales. So I was trying to figure out what the value of this thing was, because he had 20 bucks on this thing. So he didn't give any model numbers or anything. He just said a Starrett 48-inch rule. All right, great. So I made sure I was there bright and early at opening, so I would be the first, one of the first guys through the door. and I snagged this thing, and I am very happy. It has some discoloration on it. It's got a few little issues here and there. No damage to speak of, just some spotting and discoloration where it looks like maybe there was some corrosion that somebody had removed. There is a strange deal on the end here. So let me just show you a little close. So let's start with right at the end there. You can see there's a weird something going on there, and the same thing's going on at the other end. Okay. The finish looks really good though. Okay. This side is like a regular, you know, almost like a yardstick. Well, it's 4 feet though. You know, 1/16 of an inch. But on the other side, it is in 64ths of an inch. So the other side is definitely a precision scale. And most importantly, if I can get the reflection just right so you don't, the camera doesn't glare it out. Most importantly, it is marked the L.S. Sterrett Company of Athol, Massachusetts, tempered, because these are the expensive ones, okay? And this has the model number. This is a C604R. All right, so you can look it up by that, and that's when you find out this is a darn pricey scale. So even on eBay used, these things still bring north of 50 bucks, and a new one is like something like, I don't know, 300 bucks or some crazy thing. You know, you can find the 18-inch ones for less, but once you get up to the 48-inch, they get pricey. So even in the condition this is in, with some, you know, some discoloration here and there, a little bit of, you know, like a rust or whatever in very tiny spots here and there, I'm still very happy to grab this thing for 20 bucks. It's well worth it to me. So that's what I went for. The other reason I was so glad to be able to get that was because, quite frankly, me and the tool store had become kind of, you know, we were kind of falling out of our romance there. I was making a point. I was planning my week so that I could be there on the first day of the week that they open when all of the new stuff comes out, to try and scoop just, you know, whatever the heck it was that I really wanted or really liked. And the past few weeks I had gone and found nothing. As a matter of fact, last week I bought this, and it wasn't even my intention to buy it, but I just thought, well, you know what, that's actually kind of a handy thing. So I picked up this. This is a Stanley clamp-on vise, and what this does for you, which is kind of neat, is you can clamp it onto a table or a workbench. Okay, and it's got a little rubber thing here to keep it from marring your table. And once you've got it clamped on, you've got this release right here. Okay, you loosen this, that loosens this ball joint right here. Okay, which allows you to then swivel this in all different kinds of configurations. Okay, which is kind of neat. And then lock it into whatever position you want for whatever angle you want. And then mounted at the top of that post is a little miniature vise. Okay, so, and the vise, I am happy to see, has the V slots in it, horizontal and vertical. So what this is great for is, this is great for, particularly if I'm, you know, if I wanted to solder the wires onto, say, like a little PC board like this or something like that, this is a great way for me to grab onto something like that. Small things, and I want to position them a certain way. So that's just something that, you know, for $12.50, which is, I'm sorry, $11.50, it was worth it to me. I think these sell new for only about 38 bucks new. But it's in really good shape. You get a little bit of damage right here. Other than that, you know, somebody probably dropped it or dropped something on it. Other than that, it works perfect. So that's a nice little addition for 12 bucks. All right, guys, so I'm going to cut this odds and sods video off right here, and I'm going to head out with my new torch and see if we can't get that loader off the IH350. Take care, and don't forget to subscribe.